there we go. Now we're going to talk some way too early 21 prospects, because like some of us are still competing for ships, but some of you out there
are not.
You didn't hit the ice cube, you hit the iceberg. Time to abandon ship.
Yep.
I need draft picks. Who are we looking at? Obviously in a superflex league, the 1-1, the 1-2 are clear as day.
Right, absolutely. It's Trevor Lawrence, it's Justin Fields. Like, I would be absolutely positively shocked if either one of those are not one of the top 2 picks come draft day. It would have to be a major injury to one of the guys, or I mean, it would have to be something catastrophic for those not to be both of those guys. And if anything, Justin Fields might even be closing that gap a little bit. I think it's still clear as day that Trevor Lawrence is the 101.
Right.
But Justin Fields has looked fantastic. We know that he has the rushing upside as well, which is, really important for your fantasy football team. So as of right now, I think 1 and 2 are locked in. But Jared actually has the Superflex mock that our devy team just did. So Jared,
you have a mock draft?
I do.
From our devy team?
From our devy team.
Listen, if you go to dynastynerds.com right now, we have every single thing that you need to be a successful Dynasty player. It does not matter what you play. And all our content, free. That's right. Capital F, capital R, lowercase e, free.
The craziest part of all of this, there are so many guys in the Dynasty Nerds ranking. We all know that I love devy. These writers of ours are so hardcore that they're introducing me to players where I'm like, why is this guy in our rankings? Who is he? Oh, okay. So, I mean, these guys are on it. It's like 200-some players deep. These guys are on it.
If you play devy, you have to get dynastynerds.com. If you play Dynasty, you still have to. We just added player shares to the Dynasty EM tool. You would think a little thing like that would not be that great. It's glorious.
If you play in more than 5 leagues, it's amazing.
And on top of that, we added player cards. So when you click the player, it brings up all their information. But not only that, it shows you what team he's on in every single league. You got, again, guys, gals, you have to try the Dynasty GM.
It's only getting better.
I'm not even telling you to go out there and buy it. Well, yes, I am. I'm not telling you just to go out there and buy it. But if you
please do.
If you're on the fence because you're like, hey man, this is $3 a month, man. Like COVID's out there, it's eating up in my pocket. Then you shouldn't be playing Dynasty, first of all. But if you are playing Dynasty, try the GM.
Try the GM
for free.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's free. And you're just if you try it, it's gonna be love at first sight. You're gonna put a ring on it. So back to the devy.
Good luck putting it down.
Our devy team just did a Superflex mock draft. You say?
Literally finished up yesterday, Jared?
So last night, yeah.
Last night. So it's super accurate.
So this is fresh off the presses. Jared, can you please give us the results of your Superflex?
We did a Superflex and a 1QB. So
we have both. And
this year, depending if you're in Superflex tight end premium or 1QB, the value of these picks changes drastically.
I agree.
The 2021 class is really deep at quarterback and really deep at tight end. So that's going to push all those wide receivers and running backs down, or at least it should.
Was this Superflex tight end premium draft?
It was only Superflex.
Okay, because tight end premium, Kyle Pitts is going to get a boost.
Hey, he's in this first round. I'll
Dude,
give you a little spoiler.
Non-premium in the first round.
Dude,
he is legit.
You guys know I love tight ends, right? I love tight ends.
You have a tight end.
It's your favorite, yeah.
When we get to the Superflex tight end premium talk, I know I'm going to be I'm going to be out here like President Trump out there like
shake weights.
Yeah,
shake weighting it.
Shake waking the ghost. You know what I mean? Like, hey, he's coming over first. Oh my! That's gonna be me, Kyle Pitts. But Jared, read off the results. We need to hear it. Okay. Superflex first. Rookie mock draft.
Okay. So first overall, obviously we have Trevor Lawrence.
Easy peasy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Slam dunk.
102. Raju took Travis Etienne.
Raju always does that. He loves the running backs.
So I'm going to say, 100% of the time, I'm going to take Justin Fields here. I think all three of you guys are too, based on what we just talked 100%. About.
Absolutely. Yep.
And what I've seen of Justin Fields this year.
Sorry, Raju.
Compared to last year, has been
he's great, dude.
It's been night and day. Like his transformation from last year to this year, Justin Fields, is night and day. His vision on the field is done a complete 180. Like last year, my biggest fault was that he was staring down his receivers a lot.
He was locking in. Yep.
Yeah. This year, none of that. Very poised in the pocket. Looks great. What a great pick at number 2.
He
wait,
actually
no,
went 103.
He'll be a great pick at number 2. In
He'll
this draft,
be.
he was
Yep.
number 3.
But that shows the value of the running back here because, I mean,
Yeah,
it's basically ETN and then it falls off. So my guess is that was his thinking.
Yeah, so I'm going to say who actually took these guys. A 101 was Eric Haroff, Trevor Lawrence, Raju Byfield, 102, Travis Etienne. We got Derek Bosworth at 103, took Justin Fields, obvious pick there. Dynasty PJ at 104 took Najee Harris, running back from Alabama. 105, John Glosser took Jamar Chase, wide receiver, LSU. 106 is my pick. I took Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State. That's where Carson Wentz went.
Nice.
Yep.
Matt Jackson, 107. Kyle Trask, quarterback, Florida.
He had a great game this past week against Georgia.
Yes, we already have 4 quarterbacks off the board here. So 108, Carl Vagel took Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, Minnesota.
Nice
109, Felix Sharp, Zach Wilson, quarterback, BYU.
So that's 5. 5 in the first
QBs.
round.
110, Matt Bruning took Mac Jones, quarterback, Alabama.
6, half of the first round.
It's crazy.
You don't get many drafts like that.
You don't?
No.
The Josh Rosen, obviously that draft had a lot of
And
QBs
listen,
as well.
111's a tight end, Kyle Pitts from Florida.
There it is.
And then 112, we have Rondale Moore, wide receiver from Purdue. So these, in a super flex league, wide receivers and running backs are getting pushed down. These second-round picks are going to be really valuable.
So what this tells you right out the gates, right here, midst of the trade-in frenzy going on right now in dynasty leagues, is not in a super flex league. Don't be over pursuant on the first-round pick, which is always the hardest pick to get in any draft.
Sure.
Attack these seconds. Attack them and get as many as you can because there is going to be a plethora of wide receivers there, running backs and tight ends.
I was
Maybe
going to
not
say,
plethora
well,
of
there was
running backs.
two running backs that went in the first round. That's it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about earlier. I think there's kind of a tier break after those guys. So, guys like Chuba, who I'm not as high on, he looked great last year. Well, depending on who you ask, I wasn't super high on him.
I was going to say, I didn't love his tape last year.
Right.
I thought he should have gone back, and it doesn't sound like he's done.
It's
all
hurt
that.
his stock actually this year, I think a little bit. One of the guys I'm actually getting higher and higher on is Zamir White out of Georgia. He was the top running back out of high school. Problem was he tore his ACL his senior year, tore his other ACL his freshman year. So that really hurt, but had a real good season last year for Georgia. With what Georgia does, they rotate their running backs a lot and whatnot. But this year, he's really starting to get to the next level. We're starting to see more speed, more explosiveness out of him.
And Frank Gore did the same thing. He
I've seen
tore
clips
both
of him.
ACLs early, and he had the longest career in the history of a career. So
He's still going.
Still going.
I've seen clips of White, and he looks really good. He looks explosive. Is he eligible to come out this year?
He is. He'll be a junior this year, or actually redshirt sophomore
Redshirt
this year.
sophomore.
and 2 ACL injuries, he's coming out.
He said, I got to get to the league. But I've already started with the nerd score. I've already started breaking it. I haven't done my deep dives on all these guys yet, but I've already started with the nerd score. I have Travis Etienne. I have him about as high as I had Dobbins, who was my top guy for the nerd score last year, my personal top guy. And then there's a huge gap. And then I actually have Zamir White second. And then I have Najee Harris third.
Okay.
So.
Hey, if he has a game like he did last week, and when I get to the tape, because again, I don't do all my rookie tape until people are like, hey, where are you on the rookies? Like, I don't touch these rookie tapes until that season's over. Like, my focus is on the NFL right now. Like, I know you devy guys do that, but like my focus is on to be the best player I could be for this year for Dynasty. So that's my focus.
We make it really easy to do that with the film room, too.
Yeah, real easy.
Yeah.
And that's why I love the film room. I have a quick 5 minutes. I can watch some tape. Like, okay, Zamir White. I want to watch last week's game. I want to watch every play. Dynasty Nerds film room. We have all these rookies, all their games you can watch their entire game in 5 minutes of every snap they played. Courtesy of the Dynasty Nerds film room. It's just another perk that you get for being a Nerd Herd member. You get the bonus podcast. You get the nerd score. You get the rookie film room. You have so many options just to be a Nerd Herd member. If you go the premium for $5 a month, then you get the Dynasty GM tool. Take your Dynasty game to a whole nother way. So it's not just the tools. It's the film we have, the articles, the rankings. You get everything. So going back to this 21 Superflex draft, listen, whenever you have an opportunity to grab a quarterback and they're taking the first round of the NFL draft, I'm a firm believer in Superflex leagues. You just do that. You know what I mean? People gave us a lot of crap last year for saying you got to take Justin Herbert third overall. I remember when we did our Superflex YouTube video last year, people were like, oh, I turned it off after it said Justin Herbert third overall. These guys don't know anything. Okay? Yeah. Good luck trying to buy Justin Herbert in a Superflex league right now. good luck trying to offer I mean, okay, maybe for Trevor Lawrence you can. It's a bad year to say it, but like, Justin Herbert, Justin Fields. You're taking Justin Herbert. All these Justins going around.
So many J's.
Yeah, where's Britney Spears when you need her? She's gonna get excited. So for me, this year, like, okay, I can get a quarterback in the first. I love Jamar Chase. I love Bateman just as much as the next guy. But listen, there's tons of talent then in the second round that I can get there. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, right? There's tons of talent. And then even in the third round, there'll probably be guys like Chris Olave out there who's just as good. That maybe in the Superflex League this year, you might be able to get at the back end of the second. So this year, just like last year, when you're getting guys like Antonio Gibson, this year might be even deeper because of the Superflex talent. And there's going to be more tight ends than just Kyle Pitts as well, because most Superflex leagues are tight end premium. So,
right. Brevin Jordan, Pat Freiermuth.
This is probably the best tight end class in the last decade, I would say.
I think so.
Gronk, Aaron Hernandez.
2019 was good.
Yeah.
It's better.
With Hawkinson and Fant and Irv Smith, but I agree. I think these three guys, and there's actually one or two other guys that could sneak in that aren't too bad. Charlie Kohler and
Freiermuth is great out of Penn State. He's that overall solid. He's like Hawkinson almost.
Yeah,
right.
He's more of your prototypical, like, he can block, he can catch. He's not this crazy absurd athlete, but neither was Gronk. Neither was a lot of those guys. But he's going to win in a lot of those same types of ways.
Kyle Pitts.
I'm just bigger, more physical. He's going to be more like
Kelsey.
More like Kelsey. Maybe even like Darren Waller. Stylistically, could even like talent wise be better. But stylistically, he's more of that like
big wide receiver.
He's a wide receiver basically that happens to play tight end. So
he's unreal.
So, but Jared, I think you brought up a really good point, though. You mentioned the value difference in Superflex tight end premium leagues versus 1 QB leagues this year. There might be a bigger discrepancy this year than we've seen most seasons, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in Superflex, you value quarterback more. And there's a lot of respected draft analysts that are saying there could be at least 6 quarterbacks going in the first round. So, like we saw in this mock draft, you want to do that, and that's just going to push the talent at the wide receiver and running back position down.
And it's going to be like that year Baker came out. That draft had a lot of talent at running back as well and receiver, but you saw that draft, and I was in a lot of those drafts in a lot of analyst leagues where it just went, Baker, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson even slipped a little bit. So you got boom, 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 boom quarterbacks there. Can we get the 1 QB or the one the 1 QB PPR mock draft 2 here to kind of look at that for listeners to hear the actual names for there?
John Glosser at 101 took Jamar Chase, wide receiver, LSU. Matt Bruning at 102 took Najee Harris as the first running back off the board. Yeah, from Alabama. Then at 103 we had Alex Karpesky take Travis Etienne from Clemson. And then I took Rondale Moore at 104, wide receiver from Purdue. Matt Jackson at 105 took Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, Minnesota. Eric Kortz at 106 took Devontae Smith, wide receiver, Alabama. Raju Byfield at 107 took Chuba Hubbard, running back, Oklahoma State. Felix Sharp at 108 took Kyle Pitts, tight end, Florida. Wide receiver playing tight end. That's a lot of people say.
Yep.
Hey, he's a blocker, though, too.
I was surprised when we broke down a little bit of his tape for the Film Nerds. I was surprised how efficient he was, or at least the effort that he gave.
Is there, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't always have the frame to do it, but the effort and the desire was there. So
yeah,
I mean that's the winning combination. That's what you want to see from a guy, like a guy at least willing to go out there and block.
Should block. I mean, sometimes you got to do is just
get in the way.
Yeah,
yeah. A lot of these guys, they're just too soft to play the position. It sounds like he's at least got the aggressive nature in him.
109, Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, Alabama, and he's a guy that might end up falling. You might be able to get a steal in your drafts because he's probably not going to perform at the combine. He's one of the fastest guys, maybe the fastest in this class, but he's out for the season.
Similar speed to Ruggs, right?
Right, yep. Derek Bosworth at 110 took Trevor Lawrence there, so you get your quarterback off the board. You might even want to take Trevor earlier. I mean, he's the golden boy.
It's so hard, though, in the 1 QB league when you're staring at these position players. Oh, everybody's got a quarterback
he could
already.
Be your next Drew Brees.
No, I agree. No, I'm not saying that's a bad pick at all. Trevor Lawrence, anywhere I think where he goes, I'm okay with that. As high as like in this draft, like I would take him over Chuba Hubbard, for example, this early.
Ditto. So would I.
Yeah. So, but now when you get to some of these receivers, again, it's a weird mix into 1 QB because you can always go get a QB in 1 QB. I mean, there's only 12 that start. So,
But a Trevor Lawrence?
exactly.
So let me get back to it here. 111, Carl Vagel took Justin Fields then.
Okay,
Ohio
so 2
State.
out.
Yep. And then Eric Haroff at 112 took Terrace Marshall from wide receiver from LSU.
It's a good. He's really impressed me. He was a guy that was moving up my board a little bit, but there's a lot of other guys that didn't even make the cut.
Yeah, I'll name off some of
go
them
ahead.
here. So we got wide receiver Tylan Wallace from Oklahoma State. He's a guy to keep an eye on. Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver USC. Tamorian Terry, Florida State. Seth Williams, Chris Olave. I mean, there's a lot of wide receivers here. It's a deep wide receiver class.
And we mentioned Zamir White earlier. He's a guy that I think is moving up boards. We'll see if other people agree. Kenneth Gainwell to Memphis. He decided to sit out this year after his redshirt sophomore year. He had a really good season, or actually after his redshirt freshman year at Memphis, had a really good year. And we've seen we've seen all the players that have come out recently. Gibson, Henderson. There's been a lot of good running backs coming out of Memphis lately. So the reason we talk about this, because I know there's a lot of people on here that are like, well, I'm not a devy guy. I don't really care about devy.
This has nothing to do with devy. This is getting ready for the 21 rookie class. It's
Exactly.
Be extremely deep.
So you need to know about what you are expecting out of these players, out of this class ahead of time, before you go ahead and trade those picks.
Right.
Because it's helpful to know that, okay, this year looks like this. Next year might look like that. We obviously don't know for sure. At this point last year, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was just coming onto the scene. 2 years ago, Josh Jacobs, we weren't even talking about him declaring for the draft yet. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that could still happen. The Pack hasn't even started playing yet.
Last week was
their first week. Big Ten's only 3 weeks in.
The running back field's going to change. The receiving field's not going to change much.
Probably not much.
And the QB it's going to change just a little bit. Like I said, it's Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, and then it's like, okay, who do you like? Do you like Trey Lance? Do you like the kid out of BYU? Do you like the kid out of Alabama? Do you like the kid out of Florida? You know, it's going to be who do you like? Just like it was during the Baker year, right? Like some people like Josh Rosen over Sam Darnold. Some people like Josh Allen. We made a case on the show. I remember when we were talking about Lamar Jackson, I was like, okay, I'm about to make the case why you should draft Lamar Jackson. I went back to the Michael Vick, like, hey, he was running quarterback 1 overall, quarterback 3 overall, just on his rushing alone. So if you can get that ability, then you're going to get a high-end quarterback. You compare Josh Allen to like a Cam Newton.
Right.
You can get that. Now, if you took both of those guys, either Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, the back 2 quarterbacks that were taken in almost every draft, rookie draft, were the best 2 quarterbacks taken for a fantasy perspective. Like Josh Rosen doesn't play.
Nope.
Baker Mayfield is just a quarterback 2, and Sam Darnold's a quarterback 3. So, and then meanwhile, Lamar Jackson right now, they have the best year, but last year he won you a championship, and Josh Allen's a quarterback 1. So, great players. But like Garrett said, you have to be when you play Dynasty, it's a constant game, right? Like you're thinking about now and you're thinking about the future. So the future entails rookie picks. Like, okay, that's fine. You're going to trade for rookie picks, but what are you trading for? Like, this rookie class is going to be deep, but like, who are some names you could look for? That's why you use dynastynerds.com to help you with things along those lines as well. So
I mean, it's all about knowing the value of things,
right?
And you can't know that unless you kind of see what's coming down the pipeline. It's the same thing NFL personnel people do. Yeah. I mean, they're always looking at, hey, who's going to be available through the draft, who's going to be available through free agency, and they kind of marry the two things together to figure out which way they have to go in both avenues. And you have to do the same thing to your dynasty team.
And that's why it's helpful to know right now, like 22, I'm not very high on 22. Right. I don't think there's a lot of players in there. We've been talking about 20 and 21 for a while now. These are the years to get those guys. It might be slim pickings the year after.
So last question on that note, before we wrap this up here, do you think it's a good idea when we're making these trades? We just said trying to get a lot of seconds. Like, maybe there's a player you don't like, and we know there's a team in your league that has multiple seconds. Are you willing to give up like a player that you're ready to get up and your 22 first to get multiple 21 seconds?
Yeah, I would be willing to do that. Yeah, we talked about, especially if it's the super flex. It's going to be super deep in a super flex league is where the real depth. It's a little bit more shallow in the 1 QB.
It's going to be like this year, where when you get around pick, we got around pick 14, 15, it started to take a big drop off there. Because once you got past the Denzel Mims, Michael Pittmans, right around there, then you start ending the Brandon Ayuk, who's looked good, the Antonio Gibsons, the Anthony McFarland, like that category, which some of those guys do pan out and are great, like Antonio Gibson. Ayuk looks great so far, but there's a drop off. Where in a Superflex league, last year we only had a couple QBs to extend it. This year we have 6. So the second, where now the Superflex last year went to about pick 18.
Right.
This is going all the way to 24.
Right.
So the seconds is just on this conversation alone, we've learned that the Superflex 21 seconds are must buys. Like not kind of you like. Oh, maybe I buy.
Start stockpiling.
It's an aggressive move. You should be,
especially those early ones, because that they're either pushing down a couple running backs that could be starters, or Pat Fryermuth, Brevin Jordan at tight end. One or two of those quarterbacks slip. Like there's a lot of really, and even if it's a really smart draft that does everything right, okay, I'll take Amon-Ra St. Brown out of USC, who looks fantastic. Like there's just going to be a lot of really solid players there.
and then we're on the Combine Darlings, which
Yep.
I can't wait for. So in the draft this year's in Cleveland, so hopefully it's
Heyo.
a success.
Hopefully things clear up enough for us to be able to go.
Here we go. I want to see Trevor Lawrence.